Twisted Metal episodes 6 and 7 continue the car combat shenanigans and remind you to always bring a baby to a knife fight. Welcome back, nerds. JBuck here, and let's slide into all of the crazy Easter eggs, video game references, and tiny little things you might have missed in Twisted Metal episodes 6 and 7. Things start with a flashback to an unknown time. All we know is John Doe still has Evelyn, so theoretically before the events of Season 1. Surprisingly, it appears John and Calypso have previously met, but John had no idea who this wandering mystic was. Calypso's more relaxed fit check here is pulling from Twisted Metal Black despite his luscious locks remaining. The two chat about the world and dreams while sharing a refreshing Brimbles, an in-universe adult beverage that debuted in Season 1. The mention of dreams is interesting. I'll touch on this a little later in the video, but I think we've already seen some of Calypso's Make-A-Wish magic in action. As of right now, Calypso is the wasteland man of mystery, us really not knowing where he came from, really any of his backstory. Weirdly, lore-wise, the only inkling of Calypso's past is featured in a Twisted Metal 2 the comic. This was a 1996 16-page comic book tie-in with the release of Twisted Metal 2. It was reported that only 100 copies were actually printed, with 50 being awarded as a prize to winning contestants of a Twisted Metal 2 contest held by Sony's Tips and Tricks department leading up to the game's release, while the remaining 50 were randomly distributed or simply destroyed. Now, reeling things back a little bit, the story focuses on the world destruction of Twisted Metal 2, while diving into Calypso's backstory. He was a bratty teenager who accidentally backed over his sister. Yeah, I guess a trigger warning for anyone who needs it. This childish mistake haunted him, driving him to search for a way to bring her back. This led to him causing the deaths of his two parents, him becoming a drifter like we see in this episode, only to be picked up by a mechanic and become one of the best drivers in the Destruction Derby circuit. The mechanic is the one who actually first called him Calypso, as the name just kinda stuck. The name Calypso obviously has comparisons to the Greek nymph by the same name, and her seducing people with wishes that eventually screw them over. Now Calypso, he met a beautiful wife who then he cheated on, but then she met her demise in a goofy Final Destination rogue tire to the face. Having lost everything, Calypso finally ends his own life, driving directly into a brick wall, only to find himself in hell. Driving against and besting Minion won him an audience with the devil himself. Now, Big D loved Calypso's driving so much that he offered him some of the D-Man's powers and sent him back up to Earth, urging him to find the best drivers and then send them right to the devil's doorstep. Will the series follow this backstory? Debatable, but right now, this is the only canon backstory we have for this guy. As Calypso wanders into the unknown, John notices Calypso's billboard graffiti is now finished. Calypso is real, sporting a similar font style as Calypso's name in the very first level in the original Twisted Metal game. Smash cut to the present day as John and Quiet attempt to help Mayhem survive the qualifying round. I forgot to mention this last week, but the car Mayhem steals is called a Buzzard, with the license plate of gross 12 centimeters, which may be a subtle penis joke?
Hey, yo!
I don't know, man. Another thing a few commenters mentioned last week were the green, yellow, and red bars on the packages representing the player's health bars in the game. So thank you, you did it. While doing this, Krista gets into hot water, throwing on autopilot, and mans her mounted turret, like one of Raven's hidden special moves from Twisted Metal Black. Unfortunately, Krista is skewered by the Knights of Nebraska and has a last-ditch effort, destroys her package, and gets a game over, bringing the boom and the end of Krista. BT dubs, the missiles are more than likely a reference to Calypso's nuke special move from Twisted Metal 4, and then later updated for the nuke mode in TM 2012, so again, shout out to all the commenters from last week. I'm actually surprised that they did away with some of the more well-known characters in this qualifying match, like Junkyard Dog, and it's probably leading to all of the new characters sticking around until the end to help build them up even more, I guess, in the world of Twisted Metal, especially with what Episode 7 features. A huge tone shift here, definitely capitalizing or trying to capitalize on the success of Gen V from a few years ago, as Twisted Metal basically turns into a high school coming-of-age story, full of bullies, different cliques, and awkward puberty moments.
Although he didn't die right away, so I'm not sure it officially counts. It was just the tip.
I get the series can't just be car combat, despite me wanting that. That's exactly what I want. The high school that they reside in is a loose reference to the high school featured in the Sun Springs, California suburban map from TM 2012. However, here it's called Jaffe Campbell High School, both names being nods to original Twisted Metal game director and designer David Jaffe, who worked on several of the sequels, later creating the God of War franchise, and Scott Campbell, co-founder of the Twisted Metal series, again later working on some of the sequels. Spectre's driver in the original Twisted Metal is named Campbell as well. After Stu does his best to Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, science!
The drivers are each called one by one to tell Calypso their wish, basically what they want if they win the tournament. Fans of the games know that this is the main goal of pretty much every single Twisted Metal game. Win and get whatever your heart desires, visualizing it as a standard wishing well and Calypso tokens. However, it's always a monkey's paw situation where it's a slight twist on their wishes. Earlier, Sweet Tooth states his pillow fort password is
Mecca Lecca Hi Mecca Honey Ho,
which is a nod to Jambi, the blue-faced genie who lives in a jeweled box from Pee-wee's Playhouse, as young Marcus Kane was probably shooting his TV show around the same time that Pee-wee's was on air. And of course, the obvious wish-granting similarities between Jambi, who is a genie, and Calypso. Everyone is in full-on high school mode, upgrading their vehicles in the body shop, with a few details sprinkled throughout these scenes. There's a panther attached to wheels on the auto club door, looking like that of Axel, so I wonder if this is where Dr. Zemo originally started his experiments. Also notice the subtle blackening on Frostbite's ears, nose, and igloos being actual frostbitten areas of her body, like full-on Mr. Deed's black foot.
Chop that wood. Yeah, that's it.
All of the contestants get to talking about their wishes, and this not only reveals more about their personality, but lends more evidence to my theory that there's more going on with these wishes. Axel and Grimm don't specifically call out their wishes, but we can assume that Axel wants a world with no violence, like his Twisted Metal 4 counterpart, while Grimm wants more souls in some capacity. Sweet Tooth's wish is probably becoming the most notorious killer in the wasteland. Stu's is more than likely getting his buddy Mike back into his life. Mike and Dave's wish is left up to interpretation, but maybe peace and love. I don't know. Dave feels like that kind of guy. Preacher, or I guess Deacon, wants Preacher to essentially take over the world and change reality into his image, kind of playing into Preacher's heightened schizophrenia from Twisted Metal Black and his cut ending from TM 2012, where he was supposed to confront Calypso, seeing him as he really is, a demon in hell. To Preacher's surprise, this reality turned out to be true before waking back up in Blackfield Asylum once again. Vermin wants to destroy all of humanity, allowing the bugs to rise up and reclaim the planet. Essentially the opposite of Google Eye's wish in Twisted Metal 4, wanting to eliminate all of the world's bugs. Raven wants Kelly back, John wants Krista back, Quiet wants all of the walls of every single city to come down. Frostbite wants to feel warm again. I'll come back to this one because it's interesting. Mayhem wants to become invincible, a reference to the invincibility or God mode cheat code from multiple Twisted Metal games. And lastly, Chucky wants the ability to fly, which you know will end well for him. His wish here is actually what Stu and Mike wish for in Twisted Metal 2, the ability to fly so they can, just take a listen.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
We won the game, right? So you gotta give us our prize. Well, we want... No, dude. Say demand. Okay. We demand that you give us the ability to fly.
Certainly.
That is so cool.
Congratulations. I have granted your wish. have a great time in the friendly skies.
Let's go! Wow! Hey, man, this can't be right.
Good thing these first-class tickets are refundable.
As you can see, all of these wishes kind of have a twist to them, and I have a theory that some of these wishes have subtly already been granted. For example, Chucky wanting to fly could be him getting thrown out of the window. It matches the Stu and Mike clip that I just showed. Raven could have already had a wish to revive Kelly, but now needs another one to write the twist of she's alive but now in a coma. Calypso and her 100% have a past, with all of their, subtle side talk. Not to mention that she gets a sudden nosebleed in the same fashion as her 1998 counterpart, so who knows, maybe Raven used her tarot deck and witchcraft to summon Calypso to Earth. Looking at some of the other wishes, Frostbite wanting to be warm, it's going to translate into her perishing in some sort of heat or flames.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
The next round involves each driver acquiring a beacon and driving to the finish line as Calypso announces Warehouse District Warfare, being the name of the second level in the original Twisted Metal game. Since John and Quiet finished last in the qualifying round, they are given a radar, or a simply GPS, showing each beacon. Much like in every game, the player is given a radar on their HUD, providing the location of opponents and other objectives, despite them completely blowing their head start because of their bickering. Truthfully, this whole interaction was lame, really bringing any sort of momentum the episode had to a complete and a literal standstill. And don't get me started on the whole Ice Rink Three Stooges situation. The whole thing is really dumb when you think about it. 8 different beacons, yet 6 drivers show up to the exact same one? Either way, the skating rink is a loose reference to the skating rinks in the River Park Rumble level from TM1, causing your vehicle to be all slippy, sliding around while driving on the ice, along with the skating rinks on the Metro Square maps from TM 2012. While these penguin and baby's got a gun slapstick moments play out, Mayhem comes face to face with Chucky as his face comes face to hand. He's bitch slapped by Mayhem and then yeeted out a window. Were you pointing at the screen like, hey, that's Superman, or hey, that's Wanted? Me too. Mayhem, having crashed her car, now steals Chucky's Spectre mobile and learns that there's much more to his car. It's a self-driving autonomous vehicle called Quattro. Essentially, this is Twisted Metal's version of 2001: A Space Odyssey's HAL 9000, red light, robotic voice, who is voiced by Jimmy Simpson. Shout out to him. Anyway, Quattro was a robotic bounty hunter character introduced in Twisted Metal 4, while his vehicle was the Xeon hoverbike, referenced by Spectre's license plate. Mayhem leans out the window wielding a submachine gun, referencing the same low-powered machine gun, a sidearm that's introduced in TM 2012. Things end with John and Quiet, along with us viewers, finally witnessing the Boomerang blast in action, and
where the hell's the rest of it?
Now this is my own complaint, but visually, his special is boring. The physics of the world don't matter. Make it spinning, swirling like an actual boomerang-looking missile, rather than a thrust forward 100 feet, only to return. Don't get me wrong, my inner 8-year-old self was super happy, but visually it could have used some work. John and Quiet have a quiet moment together, as John reveals he's actually made another wish, to resurrect Krista rather than bring all of the walls down. The chalkboard behind them says it all, the old Billy Shakes quote, "What's done cannot be undone," as this episode comes to a close. Another 2 episodes in the books. I had my own personal bugaboos about these episodes, from fan favorite characters biting the dust a little bit too soon, to serious action to slapstick comedy whirlwind tone shifts. I'm hopeful that the next few episodes actually lean more into the action of episode 5, and get these drivers back into their cars. It's fine, but my socks have yet to be blown off. Drop all of your thoughts on these latest 2 episodes. What did you like? What did you not like? What are you hopeful for? Let's hear it all. And feel free to subscribe and like, as it really helps out the channel. It's just me doing all of this. And of course, if you spotted any other Easter eggs and references, drop them below. All right, thanks for watching, and peace.